A bunch of interviews have come out where he is sharing what he really knows about the whole Diddy scandal. But he is not just talking about the usual stories. He is actually accusing two more people of being involved, Jay-Z and Shaquille O'Neal. I have been talking about Jay-Z's part in this too. Wait, hold on. It is more like this, Jay. I was telling my wife, who is Sean Carter? Oh, wait, no, I mean, we were talking about Sean Carter, not Jay-Z. That is how you say it, right? Sean Carter. The whole situation is like chicken with curry. Everything is spicy and mixed up. People might not be shocked to hear Jay-Z's name because of how close he was to Diddy, but they might be surprised to hear Shaquille O'Neal being mentioned. Orlando did not make any mistakes, though. He said that Jay-Z was always at the freak-off parties and that Shaq always had a spot on the guest list. But Orlando did not stop there. He also said that he was putting his life at risk just by being involved in all of this. Orlando is trying to show the world the truth, but he says there are very powerful people who want to end his life because of it. He believes they are upset because he knows what Jay-Z does in private. In his interviews, Orlando shared very detailed and graphic information about what Jay-Z does behind closed doors. It is important to remember that all of this came out long before the Jay-Z lawsuit drama. At that time, many people thought Orlando was just making things up. Some people believed Orlando, like Jaguar Wright, who has been speaking out about these issues for many years. Diddy was even shown on CNN, where he was accused of violently attacking and abusing others, something that many have tried to deny or prove wrong. But the truth cannot be ignored. Jaguar has been openly talking about Diddy, Jay-Z, and the horrible things they are said to be doing behind closed doors, long before anyone else spoke out. She has said many times that Orlando is not the crazy one in all of this. People often call Orlando crazy, but Jaguar Wright says that is not true. She explains that every time she has met him, he has seemed smart, aware, and completely in control. The only time people think he is crazy is when he talks about things they do not want to hear. Recently, Orlando mentioned Shaquille O'Neal and Bow Wow, along with Jay-Z, raising an important question. How would he know about all of this? This may not be easy to hear, but Orlando has also said he took part in some of the disturbing activities at these parties himself. If what he says is true, it would make sense that he knows who was at those parties and who was not. However, it also puts him in a very bad position because it makes him look like he was involved too. The real question is, why is he so quick to expose all these terrible things when he does not seem to feel any regret or guilt about going to those parties himself? To me, that is a big warning sign. You cannot claim to be exposing something wrong if you were a part of it and do not admit that it was wrong. But that is what he seems to be trying to do here. To be honest, his strange public behavior makes it hard to believe he could be a trustworthy witness. He has been making odd, Kanye-like rants for years, and they still do not make much sense. However, it does not seem like Orlando is just making everything up. When asked how true his past statements are, he challenges people by saying, "You paid me $5,000 to lie to you." Is that what you were saying? You really think I took $5,000 just to lie? Thing I said is the laughter, music, mother yeah man yeah though yeah, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you the truth. My mother and Michael taught me a lot about what I know and what I do not know. I know what I know and I know what I do not know. I cannot talk about things I do not know, but I can only share what God has allowed me to tell you about what I do know. Shaq and Jay-Z have been connected since 1996. The two of them, along with Nas, worked together on one of Nas's albums, which took almost 20 years to complete and came out in 2024. This happened long before the Nas and Jay-Z feud, which would make such a collaboration impossible today. However, Shaq and Jay-Z have been publicly praising and admiring each other for many years. Every year, Shaq has made public comments praising one of Jay-Z's albums or calling him his favorite artist, and Jay-Z has always returned the praise. It is clear that they have a close and meaningful friendship. But this leads to a big question. How does Shaq feel about Jay-Z now? After all, Jay-Z is currently facing serious accusations in a lawsuit that claims he was involved in a situation with an underage girl, along with Diddy. Back in December, Shaq was filming an episode of During an episode of Inside the NBA, one of his fellow hosts brought up the topic, and it did not go over well. Shaq did not like it at all and ended up walking off the set, making it clear how he felt about the situation. He said, "You think Jay-Z is not a good person right now? You are being silly. You are wrong. You are being silly, man. Go see if you can fix the wall." It was obvious that he did not want to talk about it anymore. For many years, Shaq has said that Jay-Z is one of his favorite artists and talked about him a lot. But right now, it is clear that he does not want to discuss the recent allegations. This makes sense because talking about it will not help Shaq in any way and will only bring more attention and scrutiny to him. It could also hurt his friendship with Jay-Z. However, some people believe that Shaq is avoiding the topic because he might also end up getting exposed. This is exactly why Orlando is so determined to speak out. Orlando has been trying to expose the dark side of Hollywood for a long time. He has worked with Jaguar to talk about people who are willing to do bad things to protect and hide the truth. He has even named Will Smith and Meek Mill for being at these parties. When Diddy got locked up, Meek Mill said he would pay someone $100,000 to investigate and show that he had nothing to do with Diddy. But Orlando's response is simple: you cannot take back what you have done. Meek Mill offered $100,000 to find out how his name got linked to this situation. He made it clear that he has nothing to do with Diddy. He said, "I will pay $100,000 to figure out why my name is being brought into this. If it turns out that people are leaking false information or spreading rumors about him, he might take legal action. Since this is happening on social media, not in court, he could possibly sue the people who are spreading the lies." People could be accused of spreading false information, either by suggesting untrue things or by directly harassing someone and even causing emotional harm on purpose. There are many legal actions someone could take if they can show that one person is trying to harm Meek Mill. However, it would probably cost much more than $100,000 to fight this. You would need to track a lot of posts and IP addresses and go through past messages. To get the right information, you might need to file a lawsuit against the people involved. A lot of times, the people who post these things use fake names or online handles, so it is hard to know who they really are or where they are posting from. Will Smith said the same thing, claiming he has no connection to Diddy at all. The real question is he being honest, or is this just another way to stop the conversation? It is up to you to decide. After all, Orlando has not always been the most trustworthy source. Orlando has not always been the most trustworthy person to listen to. In one interview, he was asked about his own children, and he gave some very wrong information. He even said that his unborn child was already 2 years old. When asked how old his kids were, he said he had a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and children who are 8 and 11. Then, when asked the name of the 2-year-old, he said, "Still in the belly, we do not know yet." As for the 5-year-old, he said his name was Mason. "Okay, can I show you something? I asked you before if you had kids, and you said yes, you have 4. I asked you their ages, and you said 2, 5, 11, and 16. Then, I asked you the name of the 2-year-old, and you said Shyler. You said the 5-year-old's name is Mason, the 11-year-old's name is John, and for the 16-year-old, you said you were not sure. This time, when I asked, you said you do not know the name of the 2-year-old because they are still in the belly. You also mentioned that you have a baby on the way. You said the 2-year-old is still in the belly, which would mean the child has been there for 2 years. But that is not what you meant. Then, you said the 5-year-old's name is Mason, but later you mentioned an 8-year-old. You did not say anything about an 8-year-old before. You mentioned an 11-year-old, but you did not mention a 16-year-old. Did you not hear me say earlier in this conversation that I have a lot of kids, but for now, I will say I have 4? Yes, that is exactly what I said. As a father, I am still trying to figure out how to get back into my kids' lives and learn who everyone is. You cannot judge me for not knowing everything right away. I am not judging you. Of course, I am going to make mistakes if I have not seen my kids in a long time, especially since they were taken from me. How long has it been since you last saw your kids? Honestly, I see my kids everywhere, but at the end of the day, I do not see them much. I do not really know them, and they do not really know me either. For me, This is all about being able to reconnect with my kids and be a part of their lives. I am not showing you this to make you feel bad about not being with your kids. I pointed out that you are a very smart person right now, but I feel like you are a little confused in your thinking. The proof is that you mixed up the names and ages of your children just 30 minutes apart. I am still trying to put everything together. That is what I am working on. I came here today to offer you some help. I think it might be a mental health issue that can be fixed easily. But when he was called out on that, he insisted that they planned to have the baby and conceived it within 2 years, which did not make sense to anyone. I just do not understand how Jaguar can still believe he is a trustworthy source when he keeps giving strange and confusing details like this, especially with everything that has come out in the past few years. When it comes to Diddy and even Jay-Z, you cannot just ignore what Jaguar is saying. Diddy has already been shown to be the person Jaguar always claimed he was, and now it looks like Jay-Z might soon be exposed as well. Jaguar has always said that Jay-Z and Beyoncé are much worse than Diddy, and she has never held back about the crimes Diddy committed. So, maybe Jay-Z's past with Shaq is something worth looking into. After all, secrets do not stay hidden forever, and it seems like with each passing month, more and more is coming to light. The Diddy scandal is revealing more and more hidden secrets, but what do you all think? Is Orlando onto something with his claims? Was Shaq really a regular at the freak-off parties? And do you think Orlando is even believable? Normally, I would say to ignore anything Orlando says because he does not always make sense, and he cannot even keep his own family details straight. But in this case, I do think he might be onto something, especially if he himself attended these parties. What do you think?